just when you thought it was over with Sonic Movie 3, and we've learned pretty much everything that needs to be learned. I mean, the film is out on digital today. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in just 1 month has already become the highest grossing film in the entire franchise. The Rotten Tomatoes review score has jumped up even more points to a staggering 88%. There's still, to this day, some things that we are learning about this film. In particular, some of the things that didn't make it into the film, because it is incredible, it is staggering, it's quite frankly shocking. It has a lot to do with the post-credit scene of Sonic Movie 3 and the potential concepts that could make it into Sonic Movie 4. But then again, it's also not about just Amy Rose and Metal Sonic. It has to do with a lot of concepts that were cut from the movie, such as time travel, which we talked about earlier. It has a lot to do with Metal Sonic, the future, what happened in the middle of Sonic Movie 3. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it, because Sonic Movie 4 is going to be an absolute banger. Before we get into the actual meat of the video, I do want to check out some of the deleted scenes.
He's also become a very big fan of telenovelas after his multiple surgeries in Mexico.
There's the context.
He broke every bone and punctured every organ in his body when he fell off that mech.
Wow. He looks like he's dead. Yo, Stone's carrying him out.
Stem cells aren't covered by my insurance.
That's funny.
But it doesn't matter anymore. My days of evil doing are over.
Wow.
I'm just another streamer fishing for subs.
He's a
Trying to
streamer.
sell tickets on the Ad Eggman hype train.
That's funny. Yo, honestly, they could have kept that. We also have another cutscene where Eggman is a streamer. I guess that's his big thing.
Cheers, my ever-swelling stream of toadies. It is I, Huevo Diablo, and Gerald.
Look at Shadow.
My long-lost grumpy grandpappy. Say buenos dias, mi abuelito. Who in the 10th circle of hell are you talking to? My eggheads.
The
unwitting
eggheads.
live stream of Team Robotnik. Nobody. Welcome to the big reveal. I hope you can deal with all this risk.
That's what I do to my TikTok stream when I'm on TikTok live. I'm just pressing the button.
Cheers.
We also got this one.
BTW, we just passed 10,000 followers. Excuse me while I monetize.
He's
Most
monetizing.
energy drinks just promise to get you through the day. But one sip of Berserk, and you'll put your Aunt Nancy's big old underpants on a donkey and ride it
Wow.
to the mall just to...
Okay, this didn't need to be in the movie.
Drink it and go. We've
Bro's just live streaming himself committing all types of crimes.
successfully established our tactical position in the Earth's orbit. And we're getting hella popular. Welcome, all you low self-streamers, to our new family podcast, Dos Locos Huevos Sandiablados, sponsored by Berserk Energy Drink. One sip of Berserk, and you'll pile up so many kills playing Fortnite, you'll try to turn the controller
Fortnite.
on
Oh
yourself
no, not saying Fortnite.
and have to be treated for post-traumatic.
Smurf disorder.
Drink it and go. You're gonna need something to face the impending wrath of the Eclipse Cannon.
There we go. Okay, what are they doing now? Not for nothing, they needed more of like a scene that kind of imposes the threat. I mean, that probably wouldn't have done it, but yeah. So now that the deleted scenes are out of the way, let's get into the deleted concepts, because this is where it gets pretty wild. So due to the inclusion of Amy Rose and Metal Sonic in the post-credit scene of Sonic Movie 3, we had concluded, or, you know, theorized that time travel could be something that plays a factor, especially when you consider the fact that the debut game of Amy and Metal Sonic includes the theme of time travel. Last week, concept art from Sonic Movie 3 was slowly being revealed, and we saw a shot of Super Sonic fighting Super Shadow in space, which first of all just looks awesome. But in the background, we noticed that the Eclipse Cannon was destroying the Earth, which means, did Shadow and Robotnik, like, did they win? And then, you know, they used time travel to go back in time to somehow fix the mess. It certainly seemed like a plausible theory, especially when you consider the fact that the leaked storyboard for Sonic Movie 3 that came out about a year ago quite literally had the words time travel in it. And now these cut concepts and theories are looking to be reality after another batch of concept art was just found, and it's really wild. Let's start first with the Robotnik versus Robotnik fight. And one thing that you'll notice is in the background, the Eclipse Cannon is once again destroying the Earth, or, you know, hitting the Earth. Maybe the impact wasn't as great, but, you know, if it's hitting the Earth like that, it seems like the impact is definitely being felt. So if you'll look, it seems like the Eclipse Cannon itself is imploding. These two are fighting, and the scene looks a lot more serious than what we got in the film. So that's going to be a common theme throughout all this concept art. A lot of this looks even better than what we saw in the actual Sonic movie. This scene right here doesn't really have any plot altering effects, but I figured I'd share it nonetheless as we're analyzing all of it. You have Sonic looking extremely, I don't know. Tails looks absolutely depressed, and Knuckles is, he's eating some Chow themed cake or something like that. And Commander Walters is also chilling as well. So this looks a lot more bright and vibrant than the actual dark location in the Tokyo scene in Sonic Movie 3. But this is the Chow Garden scene. Pretty interesting to see this version of it. And the, you know, it looked a little bit different in the actual movie. Here is another wild concept art scene. And this shows what looks to be Super Sonic and Super Shadow. Kind of, at this point, they've probably teamed up. And we see the Eclipse Cannon imploding. So this probably implies that whatever plot that the Robotniks had cooked up, it seems like it was successful, right? It seems like there was some type of loss at this point. In the movie, we know that the Eclipse Cannon implodes, but Shadow and Eggman are able to stop it. So I'm not sure if this is like a continued concept from the movie or this was scrapped. I mean, certainly it looks like it was, but this once again shows that we might have seen a much different ending to Sonic Movie 3 than what we got. Next up, we have the telenovela scene inside of the egg crab robot thing, and there's really nothing to point out here other than the fact that it just looks like kind of funny. I guess Will Ferrell's in the background. I don't know who thought Will Ferrell would be a good idea to sneak in here, but there's no plot altering details here. This is essentially the same exact thing that was shown in the movie. Next up, we have another non-plot altering scene. Now, I'm assuming that this is the end of Sonic Movie 3 because everyone looks like they've been through absolute hell together. Knuckles is burning some grapes, Sonic has a chili dog, and Tails has marshmallows. Tom is wearing the same outfit, I believe, that he wore at the end of the movie, and everyone just kind of looks like they've been through a lot. So I'm assuming that this is the end of the movie where they're in like the camping area and not the beginning when they're in the camping area, but it's hard to make that determination. But based off of everyone's body language here, it looks like they've been through hell and back. Next up, we have another scene that's drawn up exactly how it plays out in the movie. We have the black hole scene with Knuckles biting onto the metal thing to save everyone, and then they toss the ring and it saves them from the black hole. So this looks cool in concept, but it doesn't really change anything. Let's move on to the next one. So now this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. So we have Shadow and Gerald Robotnik, and we have Sonic and regular Robotnik tied up. So looks like the location's a little different. I don't know. It doesn't look like the abandoned lab. I mean, obviously it looks like some type of ruins, but it kind of looks like it's in more of like a palace or something like that. But this scene's different because in the actual movie, Robotnik is on the other side of this. So I wonder if they keep Sonic tied up and then they free Robotnik, or what the original concept was. Maybe there's a concept where the betrayal of the Robotniks takes place a little bit later in the movie, or it takes place earlier on. I don't know. But this is definitely interesting because this is not how it plays out in the actual movie. Okay, so here we go. This is where things start to get a lot better. So in this scene, we have what looks like, I don't know, a giant ball of things parading through, I think, the city of London. So I think this is a revitalized London scene. And it looks like there's a large threat that is attacking the city. You see Tails and Knuckles trying to run away from it. And this looks simply a lot better than the London scene that we got in the movie. If you watch my review of Sonic Movie 3, you know what my criticisms are. Obviously, I like the film. I think it's really fun. But the one part of the movie I thought that could have improved was the London scene. And this looks like it has more of what we wanted, more of the threat being imposed. Because when I watched the movie, I felt like there was maybe 15 to 20 minutes missing from the runtime of the movie to either flesh out more of the plots or impose more threats and kind of add just a little bit more beef to the plot, because it felt like the plot progressed just a little too fast. It felt like they kind of left a couple things on the table. And this kind of shows that that was probably the case. We can only theorize and speculate as to what this is. Perhaps this is an extension of the black hole scene, but you also have to ask yourself, like, what exactly is going on here? Because we have no idea. This does look pretty similar, I will add, to some of those structures that Silver the Hedgehog would create in the Sonic Generations Crisis City boss fight. Now, it's not to say that it's the exact same, but clearly it seems to be inspired from it. It's not even to say that Silver was going to be in Sonic Movie 3, but it has you wondering if, like, he's planned or he's on the horizon. As a matter of fact, Jeff Fowler, the film's director, had some comments about Silver, so let's roll the clip real quick and then we'll get back into the concept art.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. And I've got to tell you real quick, my daughter said she needs Silver next. next.
Wow.
So that's
Wow,
what
there's a
you
lot
want.
of Silver fans out there. She's
Yes.
not alone.
All right, thank you
Stellar
so much.
will take it into consideration for sure.
Okay, so he said we're taking Silver into consideration. So just throwing that out there, especially with that concept art being revealed. But I want to get into this scene right here where you have Team Sonic doing the Sonic Heroes thing over here with the 3 people being carried by the flight character. And once again, it looks like there's something seriously wrong with wherever they are. I mean, it doesn't look like London, although it looks like there's some destroyed buildings in the background, similar to that structure that we saw previously. But also, if you look in the background, it looks like some type of island. It almost kind of looks like the Master Emerald Shrine from the first movie. But with that being said, it looks like something was missing from this middle area of the movie. If there's any indication or feeling that you have that maybe the middle of the movie felt rushed, it's because it probably was, and they cut out a lot of concepts from the film, because this looks awesome. This right here was something that was missing from the movie. It feels like maybe we could have had our city escape moment or something like that. But unfortunately, this did not make it into the movie. It really does sell that threat that was potentially looming. Here we go. This is also where it gets crazy as well. We have concept art of Amy Rose and Sonic. So, you know, in principle, it looks kind of similar to the post-credits scene. Where it takes place seems very different. First and foremost, they're not fighting a Metal Sonic robot. Looks like whatever robot in the scene looks like a singular large entity that needed to be taken out. Also, you notice the background looks a bit dystopian. If you look in the little corner right here next to the explosion, it almost looks like Oil Ocean Zone or like some type of bad future. Now, we'll get into that in a second, but we have Amy Rose's design here. She has a little bit of a longer dress and also taller boots. So her design certainly looks different, but at the end of the day, still pretty similar to the original Amy Rose design, when you consider the ugly Sonic design was the first concept of the characters that we got in the movie. I guess the salient question to ask here is whether or not this was planned to be in the actual movie, or this is just the concept art for the post-credit scene. Now, a lot of this makes it into the post-credit scene, so potentially that's the route that they were going to go. But the directors and writers have talked about, you know, they had drafts of this movie, or, you know, pre-planning concepts that tried to include Amy Rose into the film. Ultimately, they decided not to do that because they wanted to flesh out Shadow's story as much as possible. But the next piece of concept art we're going to look at maybe explores what would have happened if, you know, there is some type of time travel element in the film, because this certainly depicts that. We have what looks to be here some type of bad future with a king or emperor Robotnik clearly ruling over the world. If you look at the infrastructure behind him, you'll see destroyed cities in the background. You'll see red ominous sky. You'll see his kingly robes. You'll also see some of the sculptures behind him, which clearly depict him as some type of ruler of the world. And at his right hand side, you have Metal Sonic looking extremely, 1, cool, 2, angry, and 3, like he means business. I can't think of any other scenario where we end up like this without some form of time travel being in the movie. Now, the question is, does this happen during the movie? Is this something that happens after the movie? Regardless, we have to assume that Robotnik is clearly the creator of Metal Sonic, and this is clearly setting us up for something that we could potentially see in Sonic Movie 4. A lot of these cut concepts seems like they could be plot of the 4th movie. There's no doubt in my mind that this is some type of dystopian future where Robotnik is the ruler. I mean, it clearly depicts that, so you have to assume that time travel is something that could be a factor in the newest Sonic movie, and it may have even been a cut concept from the 3rd movie. Based off of all this concept art, it looks a lot more ominous, it looks a lot more dark, it looks like there really was a potential scenario where the Robotniks actually win. Now, it's really always going to be speculation and what could have been, but man, this concept art looks absolutely incredible. Like I said, my main takeaway from this is just 20 more minutes is all we needed from this to be the 10 out of 10 movie that we wanted. Regardless, it turned out pretty good. We're happy with what we got, but the things that were left on the table have me excited for Sonic Movie 4. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Let me know what your theories are. Today is a pretty crazy day.